everybody, that was a little snippet of the new Los Lobotomys record. It's Doug Bossi here. I want to tell you about the Rivera Venus amp. It's pretty amazing. It's like a Swiss Army knife of ability. Let me show you what I'm doing with it. It's 2 channels, but really I consider it, with the actual DI out, sort of an extra EQ bank for both the clean channel and the dirty channel. And it's super tight. Like a lot of amps that have had in the past that have had the EQ have not been able to scoop out and really shape the bottom end as much as you like. So what I'm running currently is I'm running this. It's only 25 watts, but it's plenty smoking. It's, you know, it's really loud. It's really punchy. You can see I'm using the pull boost, so it's not super heavy as far as volume, but it's super gain and it's super tight. You've got a voicing switch that I love. Gets a really deep bottom. This particular track I'm playing is a drop C with normal tuning, but this drop C otherwise. So this is going through a 412 cabinet with a 57 in Royer on it through 2 API mic pre's, and in the track I have a little, just a little reverb bust in from Pro Tools. But what I like to do with this is you have 2 effects loops, so you could do post and pre, and I'm using the pre. You know, you saw me come over and pull the switch, although you can use a foot switch for it as well. If I pull the switch, I now have the ability to use the Eventide, and I use the Eventide over here with an iPad, and I basically am able to switch whatever, you know, preset I want there. But with the foot switch you could do it on the fly, but since I'm recording and might change amps and stuff, I like to pull that and just use, you know, this in the effects loop. But what I love about this is that if I want to scope or shape a certain sound with just the channel EQ like that, for example this, now I want to click in the EQ and get a little bit of a brighter sound, different bottom end, a little brighter. So sometimes I'll do a left recording, left side with this, and then I'll flip the right channel, same guitar, and use this. Or again, Swiss Army knife, I can go to a clean channel with a Strat or another guitar, and then I can just change this instead of this EQ. So it gives you all these options as far as EQing, which I love. So I'm going to re-record the guitar. This time I'm going to use the original EQ on the channel. It's a little darker, which I like. I've brightened the guitar up a little bit, and I'm adding a bit of a chorus with the Eventide. So let's see what that sounds like. That's cool because it actually gives me a different option, and if I change guitars, it's a whole nother, you know, it's a whole nother game. So, love this. So here's the other thing I do. I have an amp closet I had made. I had different options for the head. Today we're actually using a 1968 Marshall cab I got from Eric Johnson back in Austin, with original vintage 30s in it.
Which are about 30 watts, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I've got a 57 in a Royer, as you can see. And so what's great about this head is you can kind of run it in a variety of ways. I actually did a recent session with Kenny Arnoff at his studio, brought the head over, just use it as a DI because there was no amp setup. And the engineer loved it, and it was amazing to just quickly, you know, record left and right on that thing. Just awesome.
Without needing a cab.
Without needing a cab, yeah, it's awesome. And the level control on the DI out was great, and it just sounded great, you know, tubes and beautiful. Yeah, one other thing the Venus does really well is the effects loops. You get 2 really, pre and post. I'm using the pre right now, and I'm using the Eventide H9. I'm using the iPad app, which kind of allows me to switch stuff on the fly and audition it. That's a little bit of a chorus, but I could change, you know. Allows me quickly to change it here, and it's all being read in the effects loop, which is awesome.
So you get a lot of digital control with effects, but you keep the analog tone.
Exactly.
And you like that?
I love that. Yeah, it's great. In fact, at least with the H9, it alleviates a lot of pedal boards, and I can do that. I've got 4 pedal boards here. I can definitely do that and go nuts. I've got stuff with drawers and just nuts, you know, crazy options as far as guitar. But I really like the H9 with this. It's a nice combination for me. And I'm using the Rivera. I thought initially when I got this amp I was going to use it for real heavy stuff, but I've been using it for bluesy stuff, really clean stuff. It's been awesome. I mean, I can shape any guitar with it really nice. Like every guitar sounds different, the pickups sound different. So a lot of times with an amp, you just get what you get as far as the EQ. This is really, it helps you to sculpt. And if you've got pre-existing guitars already laid down, you can really shape around those guitars, which is awesome. Now what I'm not doing, which I like to do, in fact you see 2 Mini Rock Rex. I'm a big fan of these as well. I use these on other amps because I like getting the option of having a DI out and then having that either be these sound so good that I'm not really using the impulse response cabs, but you can. And then even though I have a 412, if I want to dial in a 210 or something, I could do that with these. And this allows you to do that all in one package. So this is really, I mean, it's an amazing amp for so many things. And no matter what style you're using, I think you can get, what you want out of it, which is really cool. So I'm super happy. So the amp does a really cool parallel processing thing too, which is another really neat thing about it. So I have an Axe Effects. There's Kempers, there's Line 6, all the digital amps. So you can run a AB box or a dual box and run one out, so you get that sound, and then run the out of that digital amp into the power amp section of this, and then use the aux level to dial in how much of this you want. So you can actually get a really cool blend and push the sound of the Axe Effects or the Kemper or the Line 6 with tubes and an actual tube power amp, which is one of the things I don't like about all those modeling amps, is that they basically sound great but wide. They don't come out at you. They don't hit your chest in the speaker like a real tube amp does. So this gives you that, which is great. And for the price point, I think it's an amazing amp for that reason alone.
And then jacking in the auxiliary input gives you the 11-band EQ additionally if you want, right?
Exactly. So even more options, which is cool. So I just wanted to show you the clean side of the amp. There's a section here where we're coming out of Scott Henderson's solo, great guitar player, into Tim Miller's solo, another great guitar player. And I'm just going to do a little comping on this clean comping. I really haven't changed much. We're using the clean channel now. I haven't changed anything on the cabinet. I have changed slightly the EQ, and I've got a different sort of chorus on this guitar. So just to give you an idea what that sounds like. You get the idea. So you can go right from super metal stuff to super clean, and everything in between. You can get bluesy and all that stuff. So that's what I really like about the amp. I can change guitars. It quickly, just change the EQ up, and off to the races you go.